If you ever wondered what a 1980s movie would look like today, then look no further than Deathstalker is the kind of movie that proudly flaunts its flaws. A remake of the 1983 sword and sorcery cult classic, it doesn't try to hide its low budget, nor does it attempt to disguise its goofy tone or deliberately clunky aesthetic. Instead, Deathstalker takes those limitations and transforms them into strengths, crafting an experience that is both refreshingly self-aware and joyously entertaining. It is a movie of bad taste, practical effects, and the unapologetic silliness that defined a bygone era of fantasy filmmaking.
Give it to me! You gonna listen? There's not a one.
From the very first trailer to the release of the movie itself, Deathstalker looked like it should have collapsed under the weight of its own absurdity. The costumes look like they are homemade, the monsters look like men in rubber suits, and the sets seem one plywood wall away from falling over. But this is entirely the point. Kostansky, the director and writer of this movie, who is known for working on movies like Psycho Gorman and The Void, leans into the camp factor with unrestrained enthusiasm. The result is a movie that feels like a love letter to the VHS-era fantasy epics of the 1980s, where charm and creativity mattered more than polish or realism. The practical effects are the heart of what makes Deathstalker so enjoyable. There are gallons of fake blood splattering across the screen, beheadings that look hilariously over the top, and creature designs that combine puppetry, stop-motion animation, and traditional prosthetics. Paintings stand in for sweeping landscapes, and every monster feels tactile and handmade. In a modern cinematic world that is dominated by sterile CGI, this movie's reliance on old-school practical effects feels both nostalgic and surprisingly refreshing. Even when the gore looks fake or the monsters stumble around awkwardly, there's an undeniable joy in seeing something real being physically created on set. It's also impossible not to appreciate the movie's humor. Deathstalker is incredibly self-aware. It knows it's cheesy and campy, and it revels in that fact. The dialogue is purposefully clunky, the characters are broad archetypes, and the plot is little more than an excuse to watch a muscled warrior fight increasingly bizarre creatures. Yet that's exactly the point. Sword and sorcery films were never about deep characterization or intricate storytelling. They were about watching people swing swords, battle monsters, and inhabit a world of pure pulp fantasy. Deathstalker understands this perfectly, and it delivers on that promise. Despite its clear limitations, the film uses its budget remarkably well. With most of the money seemingly spent on fake blood and rubber suits, Kostansky manages to make every fight, special effect, and monster encounter feel lively and fun. Deathstalker spends much of the movie fighting costumed monsters in cramped locations, but it never feels dull because the movie's tone never takes itself seriously. Every sequence embraces absurdity with style. Gratuity becomes part of the spectacle. Deathstalker doesn't try to be great cinema, and that's exactly why it works. It knows what it is, a low-budget, violent, campy throwback to the kinds of fantasy movies that used to fill late-night cable schedules. Its charm lies in its honesty. It's a movie made by people who clearly love the genre, flaws and all, and who understand that sometimes the best entertainment doesn't come from perfection, but from passion and personality. Fantasy movies today are often polished, self-serious, and driven by billion-dollar CGI spectacles. Deathstalker isn't, and because of that, it feels like a breath of fresh, blood-soaked air. It's goofy, gory, and gloriously handmade. A film that reminds us that cinema doesn't always have to be good to be a great time.